Morning, everyone. Cakes look beautiful. Really nice job setting up. Welcome to the 2024 NBA Signing Day. Today is a special day for the parents and family members of each of these signees. It is also special for each of you. NBA is proud of each of your accomplishments and successes in your individual sports, but you are far from finished. Before we get started with the ceremony, I'd like to thank the following people for helping put on the event. Jim Schlichting and the maintenance crew, Dana Noonan, Jake Myers, athletic department, our cake cutters, Ms. Kit, and Dr. Daughtry for his support of all of our teams and programs. Today, the respective head coach will speak on each student athlete. Then the parents can come up for a picture while the student athlete puts on the hat and signs a letter. We will go in alphabetical order by sport. So crew will be first, football, golf, swimming, and diving, and then track. Okay? All right.
Morning. So I'm Rich Kessler, I'm the rowing coach. So a coxswain is probably the most misunderstood position of any sport. They think the idea is the person sits in the back of the boat and just yells row over and over again. But a coxswain is more like a race car driver where yes, they have to steer, but at the same time, they also have to talk to the engine to make sure that the pistons are firing in the right order and to motivate it to keep running because the engine really doesn't want to keep running. The second skill, the talking part, is one of the hardest to learn as a coxswain. Hayes had the personality when he came in as a freshman where that was just second nature to him. He very quickly learned how to get the guys motivated, to get them distracted from the pain and misery that they were in during a race, and to keep pushing. His freshman year, he qualified for the Stotesbury Cup to take the freshman 8 out there because that was the year after COVID. There was no freshman at the Nationals. And they went from being third place at the Midwest to finishing 7th in the country of all the freshman 8s that year. The following year as a sophomore, he beat out the upperclassmen coxies and took the varsity lightweight 8 out to the Nationals, where they finished 4th. Last year as a junior, he made the Nationals again, and they finished 7th. This spring, he has the potential to be the first coxie in NBA history to be out there 4 times. Off the water is where he truly shines. He has been our go-to guy for coaches to kind of help train the younger guys in the art of being a coxie. This past winter, while the guys are on the rowing machines, he's helping the 3 freshman coxies learn what to say, what to see, taking them off to the side, teaching them the commands, and he's been a huge difference maker for us over the last few years. Because of his work ethic, like even when they get down to the water, he makes sure that they are prepared for practice. They have the cox box, everything's charged. Make sure that the boat's set to go so that the guys on the water putting in a physical effort will be able to get through the full practice as efficiently as possible. It's been tremendous seeing Hayes as a leader of boys for the last 4 years. I know he's going to be a wonderful leader of men when he goes to Holy Cross. Congratulations. All right, next is Fielding Stalen. As an 8th grader, Fielding came up and raced with us in Cleveland. And I had the pleasure of meeting his grandparents who came over from Toledo, and they were in their full Michigan garb, and I had my Michigan coffee cup. And I learned early on that Fielding was named after Fielding Yost, the Michigan football coach. And being a Michigan man myself, I was vested in Fielding's success. It did not take long for Fielding to show how truly unique of an athlete he was. His freshman year, he was part of that boat that finished 7th at the Stotesbury Cup. And then 2 weeks later, he was the only underclassman in the varsity lightweight 8 at the U.S. Nationals, where they finished third. And sophomore year, he made the varsity lightweight 8 again and finished 4th. Last spring, Hillman Cooper Coleman won NBA's second national title. So in 3 years, he became the first guy to medal twice at the Nationals for us. He followed it up by last summer winning 2 more national titles during the summer season. When you look at Fielding walking around campus, you wouldn't guess that he is one of the top rowers in the country. He has this unassuming nature about him and this humility where he doesn't brag and tell everybody how good he really is. That's why I usually don't write stuff down. But the one thing with Fielding is he never shies away from doing hard work. Regardless of what it is, he's in swimming now, he's still sitting on the rowing machines and doing stuff. He's constantly getting a hold of me and asking me about different teams and different events, or what's the plan for the Midwest this upcoming May in order to make sure we win the national title or the championship up there at the Midwest. He is consummately the one of the most cerebral rowers we've had. Michigan's Fielding Yost won 6 national titles in his career. There's not a doubt in my mind that NBA's Fielding will pass that before his career is done at Yale. Congratulations.
Good morning. NBA football has 2 young men signing this morning, and I'd like to say something just really briefly about these 2 guys as a whole here. When they've played a lot of games for NBA football, been a part of a lot of big games, won a lot of games, but this year started off rough, and when times were at its worst and things looked bad, these 2 guys stood tall, and they're 2 captains. Their leadership was phenomenal, and one of the reasons why we did turn it around in the end was these 2 guys. So I'll start with Jake here. Jake Moore. He's a 3-year letterman and was a 2-year starter for us at linebacker and defensive end, earning all region and all state honors his senior season. He was a huge part of our defense and one of the reasons we were so successful. Jake was both physically and mentally tough and constantly striving to outwork everyone on the field. He consistently made big plays for our defense, and none bigger than the forced fumble at Innsworth to help the Big Red win in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. But to me, Jake's greatest impact this year was his development as a leader. He is the classic young man whose actions speak louder than his words. He set the tone for practice by his effort, his attitude, and physicality. Jake never asked anything out of his teammates he wasn't willing to do himself. As one of our captains this year, Jake's leadership helped us overcome some early season adversity and finish with an incredible turnaround appearance in the semifinals. Jake will continue his education and play football at Princeton. Congratulations, Jake. Blake Ragsdale. Blake is a 3-year letterman and was a 3-year starter for us at tight end. He's one of the few players at NBA that have earned a starting position as a sophomore. Blake was selected to the All-Region team 2 years in a row and was voted captain by his seniors and voted captain his senior year by his teammates and coaches. He is quite simply one of the toughest kids I've ever coached. You could count on Blake setting the physical tone of a game and playing through most any kind of physical pain. Blake set a standard for our team's work ethic. His passion to play the game was contagious, and his leadership helped us turn our season around. Whether it was blocking down on a power play, running routes down the middle, or making big catches in crucial moments, Blake made it happen. Blake will continue his education and play football at Georgia Tech. Blake Ragsdale.
Good morning. I'm Sean Jackson, the golf coach at NBA. And Will Jackson, one of my first golf memories with Will came during his 9th grade year, spring golf workouts. We were at McCabe. I really didn't know his game that well. He had not made varsity yet, so I was kind of getting to know him a little bit. After playing with him for 8 holes, striping every shot, came up on the 9th tee. He hit another one right down the middle. And I just said, Will, if you could just do this for another 6 months, okay, I need another guy on our varsity team, then I'll be happy. Well, he kept doing it for another 3 years. In those 3 years, Will showed steady improvement every year. By his sophomore year, his first year on the team, he was in the starting lineup. By his junior year, he was our best player. And by his senior year, he achieved a top 10 state ranking, which is only the second player at NBA in the last 12 years to do so. Also last week, he was one of 5 nominees for Middle Tennessee's Golfer of the Year. So while all these accomplishments are celebrated and say a lot about Will, I don't think that's going to be his legacy. For 10 years from now, when I think of Will Jackson, I'm going to think of something about relentless optimism. That's what he brings, and how that spilled over to his teammates, to the coaching staff, and even to his opponents. Everybody wanted to play with Will. There's a proverb in the Old Testament that says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." A cheerful heart is good medicine. So when Will goes to Dayton, he's going to have duffel bags of good medicine with him. And I believe that that's going to spill over to his teammates, to the other students, to his friends, just like it did here. Well done, Will. Congratulations.
Good morning, everybody. I am Pat Killian. I am the varsity swim and dive coach here at NBA. I'm here to celebrate the college commitments of 3 swimmers and divers, but there are 4 members of our team up here at the front table. Fielding Stalin is signing with Yale for lightweight crew today, but he's been a swimmer much longer than he was a rower. And Fielding is going to be competing at the state championship along with the rest of the swim team this weekend. So Fielding, I hope you know how proud your swim family is of you, both here at MBA and at Ensworth Aquatics. And I'm proud to have you up here representing the great relationship that our swim team has had with the crew team. And I like to think of it as the boaters and the floaters. So congratulations, Fielding. So I'd first like to congratulate Gabe Lett. Gabe is signing with the University of Evansville, and Gabe's signing today is a special occasion for the swim and dive program because Gabe is the first diver in the 50-year history of our program to sign with a college team. And so I'd like to congratulate Gabe as well as our dive coaches, Coach Andrea Myers and Coach Amy Kennedy, on this significant milestone for the program. In many ways, it was unlikely that Gabe would become our first college diver given the circumstances of the past 4 years. Gabe was remote during his freshman year and wasn't able to participate with the team. During his sophomore year, our facility remained closed in the aftermath of COVID. So it wasn't until 11th grade that Gabe got a full varsity season, his first competitive season since his 8th grade year. But in that season, it was clear how much talent Gabe had as he seemed to improve just meet after meet. He finished that season, last season, with a 9th place showing at state and was named Middle Tennessee's Men's Diver of the Year. Gabe, that success, the success you found has been powered by your strong sense of ownership. All of last season and for most of this season, you have been the only diver on the team. You have been the dive team. And in those challenging circumstances, you've of course been accountable to your coaches, but beyond that, you've really had to be accountable to yourself, to get yourself to practice, to be honest about your own goals, to motivate yourself to improve each day. It's been so easy to coach you in those circumstances because as anybody who knows you knows, you have such a clear vision of the person you are called to be, and you work to fulfill that calling each and every day. Integrity, responsibility, and kindness are constituent of your character. I am so excited for your future at Evansville and how much you're going to grow there, not only as you pursue your goals as an athlete, but also as you pursue your passions for teaching, for education, for counseling, for ministry. I know that you're going to do so much good in the world, not just for your teammates and not just for your school, but really for the community beyond that as well, just as you have for your family, for your siblings, for your friends throughout your time in high school. I want to congratulate your family, your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, and friends. I want to congratulate again your coaches, and I want to congratulate you, Gabe, on this significant achievement. Bravo. Next, I'd like to recognize Jayschlasser, who has signed a national letter of intent with the University of Arizona Wildcats. Jay is the third NBA swimmer to sign with Arizona, following Hudson Dobbs from the class of 2017 and his older brother Chatham from the class of 15, who was an NCAA All-American in Tucson. Like both of the Dobbs brothers, Jay ranks among the most talented swimmers in the history of our team. He's top 10 all-time for us in the 200 IM, and he's second all-time in the 100 breaststroke, only behind Curtis Lovelace from the class of 2008. Jay is a junior national qualifier. He's been named all-region and all-state, and with our medley relay last season, he achieved All-American honors. I've had the privilege to know Jay since before his time at MBA through the Nashville Aquatic Club. And Jay, I've watched you and Jack and Michael and Luke grow up through the years. And I've watched you have such a significant impact on team culture at every level of the sport. It's clear every day that you all want to be at practice, that you want to work hard, and you have been so good at encouraging, supporting, and motivating one another. Jay, you yourself have been a model of consistency and effort. You've never had to say much for people to know exactly what you're about and exactly what you stand for. You are about the work every single day. I so admire the way you have challenged yourself with clear and ambitious goals. I think it's clear that the way you've challenged yourself to reach for the heights of this sport is one of the ingredients that's gotten you here today. I know that you have a playlist on your phone, and that the title of that playlist for the past couple years has been the junior national qualifying time in the 100 breaststroke. And I know that you updated that every time the cut updated. And that's the behavior of a lunatic, and I love you so much for it. Thank you, Jay, for the focus and the passion that you have brought to our team. I want to thank your parents for their support of our program over the years, especially your mother, Carrie, who's been our computer expert and such a generous volunteer with her time for all of our meets each season. I want to recognize your coaches at the Nashville Aquatic Club, Jack Falcarelli, Doug Warm, and John Morris, who provided such excellent guidance and such excellent opportunities for you over the season. Next year is going to be so hard. You are going to be joining a team with some of the best swimmers in this country, and with that is going to come significant expectations. And Jay, I love you, and I'm so proud of you for having the courage and desire to join that kind of environment. Congratulations on your commitment. So we have 14 seniors on the swim and dive team this year. It's probably the biggest senior class in the history of our team. These seniors have gone through their high school careers undefeated against our division opponents in our dual meet seasons, and they've won 4 straight region championships. And like Jay, Jack Teasley has been a significant contributor to that record of success. As a freshman new to MBA, Jack won our first year award because adding him to the team felt like finding the missing piece of a puzzle. Jack is high energy, Jack is resilient, Jack is always ready to race. In 9th and 10th grade, Jack was our token distance swimmer. He was our go-to guy in the 500 freestyle, an event that for many of us feels like a real chore. And there was a meet in 10th grade where I took Jack out of the 500 free because he swam it every week for us. And after the meet, he told me that I shouldn't have done that he didn't need to take a break from it, that in fact there was a guy on the other team we were racing that he had really wanted to beat. And Jack, even though you've evolved past a distance swimming, you haven't lost any degree of that mentality. Planning for the state meet this weekend, Jack and I talked about whether he should swim 3 events on the first day of the meet. And I said, that's a lot of racing. And Jack said, I don't care. So he'll be swimming 3 events on Friday. Watching the group of you guys practice together has been like watching a den of wolves, the way that you compete with each other as training partners. And Jack, you've had such a significant influence helping to stoke that competitive fire in your teammates. Your energy makes you a great teammate. It's made you a great coach at Richland each summer, and it's made you such a resilient swimmer that you're so ready to bounce back after any setback or disappointment. One of the things that I admire most about you. Jack has been a state finalist. He's a 2-time all-region honoree. He ranks in the top 10 for our program in 3 events, the 200 freestyle, the 500 freestyle, and the 100 butterfly. And despite those accolades, Jack, I know your best is yet to come. It's been amazing to watch your development over the last 4 years. And I'm so excited for you to join the team at Emory, one of the most storied and accomplished swimming programs at the collegiate level. It's going to be so exciting to watch you grow with that team and with that school. It's going to be so exciting to watch you help them compete for national championships. And it's going to be so awesome to watch your growth at really your dream college, the college you've dreamed of throughout this process. And it makes me so happy to see you land there today. I want to acknowledge your parents who are tremendous supporters of our program, who volunteer so much of their time for us. And again, your coaches at the Nashville Aquatic Club, Doug, John, Jack, thank you guys so much for the way that you have trained, encouraged, and supported these boys throughout their time in high school. Jack, congratulations.
Good morning. My name is Jan Pippen, and I'd first like to welcome you all and especially thank the track and field team and the Perry and Trumbull tribes for getting up early this morning. I'm here today representing track and field, but it's my honor specifically to represent Jack Perry. Jack is a hard worker, but what I appreciate most about him is his care for his team and his positivity as a leader. I noticed that yesterday when he filled out his senior bio for the sports program this spring, he said that his favorite memory was when our 4x4 relay ran the city championship last spring in the pouring down rain. And what's significant about that is Jack wasn't even on that team. So he was running around the track in the pouring down rain, soaked to the skin, screaming for them. And that's the kind of leader Jack is. He's selfless. When Jack came to MBA, he was open and excited for a new chapter in his life and was immediately befriended by many of his classmates. Jack is a genuine person with a great sense of humor. He has a heart for others, so he's heavily involved in serving others selflessly. He sets an example for our team in that and makes MBA a better place. Jack has grown up on the track, so he had lots of knowledge and passion for the sport when he arrived at MBA. I have to be honest and say that I was concerned about where he was developmentally and whether he was capable of reaching the lofty goals he had for himself when he got here. Jack isn't afraid of hard work, and he seems to enjoy every minute of training, which makes him so fun to coach. Although he sacrifices his body to train for 10 events, competing in the decathlon for us, I'm so proud that he's transformed himself into the top vaulter in our area, winning the state title last spring and reaching some of those goals. It's unusual to be exceptional in an event like the vault that takes so much time and technical training when you spread yourself so thin, but out of sheer determination and grit, Jack has done it. I look forward to an exciting spring, helping him check off a few more of those goals, but today we're here to celebrate his commitment to track and field in the future. Jack has chosen to continue his athletics and education at Belmont University, where his brother Knox will be his vault coach. Congratulations, Jack, and the Perry family.
I guess it's just me and Samuel in between y'all and cake, so I'll be brief, but I also don't want to give sort of short shrift to Samuel with all he's done. Samuel came to MBA as a new 8th grader, and at the time played football and saw himself as a 400, 800 runner on the track. And during high school, he has transformed himself into a true distance runner. And there's a huge difference physically and mentally in kind of what you need on a football field and what you need as an endurance runner. And Samuel's work ethic and commitment as he has transformed himself has been really inspiring to watch. Even when before he went full-time into running, he had a lot of success. He qualified for the state track meet in the Open 800 and anchored our 4x8 relay teams as a freshman and a sophomore. And then 11th grade, he started running full-time. And very beginning, just before our first meet, his junior season in cross country, he got pneumonia. And it turns out that being able to breathe is actually really important for running a good 5K. And so he had a really frustrating fall season his junior year because he would start races really well, and just literally he was running out of air because his lungs were still recovering from the pneumonia, and just his perseverance as he worked with that, his dedication through the winter. And then last spring, he was a key part in setting 2 school records, the 4x8 relay record that had stood since the late 90s, the distance medley relay record that had stood since the early 2000s. And then this fall was really special. As many of you know, the NBA cross country team qualified for Nike Nationals for the first time ever this fall. Samuel was a key part of that, both as consistently one of our top 2 runners and then also as a captain. Part of that success also came because we had some special freshmen, and really early in the season, Samuel pulled those guys aside and talked to them about what it would take for us to succeed this fall. Their success absolutely is partly attributable to Samuel's leadership. He's not the guy that's going to be sort of rah-rah, loud, but in really quiet but really concrete ways, he was a key leader. Since cross-country season has ended, Samuel, having already run, it's not an official school record, but the fastest 5K time ever by an NBA runner, he's also, since the end of cross-country, run the fastest 2-mile and fastest mile times at NBA. If he can do that on the track this spring, he'll get on the school record board for those events. And again, as Samuel has a chance to leave NBA, one of our most decorated runners with his name on the record board, but we will miss his dedication, his work ethic, his quiet leadership way more than we will miss those records. I'm really excited to see what Samuel accomplishes this spring off of the hard work he's been putting in over the winter, and then look forward to seeing what he does moving on past MBA as he goes to the University of Kansas. I don't know what Rock Chalk Jayhawk means, but it sounds really great. So Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
All right, I have 4 final comments for each of you before we close. Immediately after this ceremony, make sure you thank your parents for all the time they spent driving you to and from games and practices, and always being your biggest fan. So make sure that happens. Got it? Number 2, make education your number 1 priority. It only takes one injury to end the athletic portion of your journey. So make sure the academics are number 1. 2, with the world of NIL and social media dominating these days, Be the best teammate or team player that you can be. Be a part of something bigger than yourselves. And finally, enjoy your time in college and relish the moments as they will fly by. And I promise you they'll fly by. Sit down and reflect on the important things that have shaped your life and that continue to shape your lives. So please do those 4 things if you can remember them. Before we get started, I need the cake cutters to come down. Okay. Thank you to everyone for coming and sharing this special moment with these 10 signees and their family. We're really, really, really proud of you guys, and thank you guys. Cake cutters. Yeah. Hey, let's get a group picture before we cut the cake. Let's get a group picture real quick.